Hey there YouTube, AJ here, and today, in anticipation of starting to put my Mercury motor back together, I need an oil pump. So the Mercury motor didn't come with one, but fortunately I have two from my other motors, various condition here. This one came out of the relatively good motor, but it was very full of sludge, and I did clean that sludge out of the screen, but this was all packed up. And it's getting a little more beat up shape. Like you can see, it's all banged up down here. This one came out of the other motor with less sludge, but I don't know. Both of these spin, and there's no play or movement in either of the shafts. And when you spin them, they both make glug glug noises, which I think that would be a good sign. But the idea of how these pumps work is this pickup sits down in the oil pan and is covered in oil. The pump is driven by the camshaft gearing. Well, there's an idler gear in there, I think, but anyway, yeah, it's driven by the motor. And then there's a slot here where the oil is picked up, sucked up into here, and shot out into the rest of the motor. The problem is I have no idea if either of these work. So what we're going to do today is we're going to clean both these up, and I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to test these guys and see if either one of them is going to be usable for my Mercury motor. So that's the plan. Let's get to it. Boy, let me tell you, you haven't lived until you've tried to clean up one of these, what, 50, 75-year-old oil pumps from a flathead motor. Man, what a mess. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and maybe try to attack this with a wire wheel and see if I can get rid of some of the more stubborn stuff. I think I've wiped off all the gooey stuff that's going to come off for now, so I'm going to let this dry, bake in the sun here, and then see what else we can do to it. Pro tip, if you're going to be using a lot of brake cleaner, you might not realize this if you don't have your own shop like a real mechanic does, but you don't have to buy brake clean in these expensive spray cans. You can actually buy it bulk, and if you buy one of these little containers off of Amazon, you can refill it and pressurize it with air from your compressor, and it is a lot cheaper in the long run. I did the math, I don't remember it now, but back when I went to buy a case of brake clean, I figured out the math of buying this thing and 2 cans of this and what that would be equivalent to in spray cans, and the spray cans were probably 4 times as expensive. So if you're going to be using a bunch of this stuff, in the long run, it pays to buy the equipment and buy brake cleaner in gallon cans. Just a thought. That's all there is to it. Now the screen on the one that I haven't cleaned yet is pretty full. It's pretty gross and pretty filled up, so that's got to get cleaned, but it is in better shape than the other screen. And but on that pump, I did, when I went to remove that screen, this bail wire broke. It was cut, bent, or rusted in the center, and it just couldn't take no more and it gave up. That's okay. We still have one good bale wire over here, and we can transfer that to that one if that's the pump we decide to use. And I know I've already had this screen off and cleaned it. I know it's not perfect yet, but it is a lot cleaner than this one. So anyway, on to finishing cleaning these things. Well, I thought this pump was going to be the better of the two, but now I'm having doubts because this is the one that the bale rusted through on. And if you look at the screen here, I think you can see that, but if not, let me try to put some color behind it. The screen and the hardware cloth behind it is rusted through on this one. So this one we're not going to be using because yeah, we don't want chunks to be able to get through. So this screen is definitely a goner. The only thing we could do is see about replacing the whole thing or replacing the screen and hardware cloth, but that seems like a lot of work. I don't know, because you'd have to uncrimp this band, put it all in there, recrimp it. I don't know if that's actually worth the effort. So we're going to toss this one to the side for now. That was dumb. Landed right in the puddle. And anyway, we're going to continue on. Yeah. So we're ready to start figuring out a testing rig. I think the first thing I need to do is get like a plastic tub big enough for this assembly to kind of sit in. Because there's no good way to like contain the oil that comes out of this, because it just comes out of this slot here. It pulls it up and just bubbles it out of that slot. So, you know, this surface here and this surface here contains it in that area, and it pressurizes and then leaves through a port up here, I'm assuming, where this cutout is. Which is why I went really light on the wire brushing on these surfaces that seal. So I'm hoping I didn't do, you know, you don't want leak by at that point. Let's figure out this testing rig. So if we look at this here, we need something minimum 13 inches by 8 inches. So something like 13 by 8. And we don't want to make it too big, because the idea is we want to get this all in there. We're going to try to spin this up with a drill so it will pull oil, come out, and collect in the same pan. And the reason I don't want to make it too big, because I want to be able to, you know, I don't want to have to put in a ton of oil in order to cover the pickup. First thought I was going to use this oil pan here, but it's so gross, it needs a lot of cleaning before I could do that. I don't feel like waiting and doing the cleaning on that. 8 by 13. Look at that. 8 by 13. I mean, it is perfect. Alright. I'll put you guys on hold. Let me see if I can clean this thing out. Okay, well, I've cleaned out the pan. That's good enough, I think. And I think it's definitely cleaner than anything these two pumps are pumping out of last time. So I think we're good to go here now. So we just put some oil in it and figure out how to spin these pumps. Okay, so we ran down to AutoZone and got us 5 quarts of the cheapest oil they had. So, because why waste good oil? I was going to use the oil from my last oil change on my Jeep, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, because I want to see what comes out of these pumps. So I decided to go buy some new oil. And there's obviously, I bought the big I bought the big 5-quart thing because it was cheaper in the long run. Plus I didn't know how much I was going to need, and it's always good to have some oil on hand that you know, can use for other things. So all right, so how are we going to hook this up to the oil pump and spin it? So we're going to fall back to the good old duct tape. I'm just going to try to tape this to it, which hopefully it'll work. With oil all over my hands, I'm sure that won't impede it. Oops. And I don't know which way to spin this, but you know, fortunately the drill has reverse, so hopefully we can figure it out as we go. Ah, shit. Not the best, but it works. Now, to put in the screen, I'm going to try not to have to clip the bail, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of lay it in there. And how are we going to do this? There we go. It's in. Where's our oil slot? Over here. I think it goes anti-clockwise when looking down on it, so we're going to start with that, but I'm not positive, so we might have to just give it a test and try again. I think I got it wrong, because if we look down in the pan, see the bubble? All right, because it's pushing air into the pan, I think we need to reverse it and go forward to see if we can get oil. Here we go. Whoa! I would say this one works. Did you see that? Hang on. Shoot. Oh. Ah, hell's bells. Ah, no! I'm gonna lose my coupling. Alright, hopefully we can figure out a way to make this cardboard splash shield work. I did notice what came out of it was pretty gray, like it had the paraffin sludge in it, which honestly doesn't surprise me. I kind of expected that, but hopefully we can get good clear oil coming out of it. I'm going to put you guys over here on this side, so hopefully you can see what's going on. Okay, hopefully you can see it. Here we go. Okay, that was on low speed too, so she's pumping plenty of oil. So I would say there's a good chance that this is a good oil pump. So here's the deal. Just because this is putting out plenty of volume doesn't necessarily mean it's going to put out plenty of pressure. Once it has resistance against it, that resistance will build pressure, and that pressure could reveal like bypass leaks in the pump itself, and it can't pump against it. So while this is a good sign, it doesn't mean we're all a-okay yet. And we also have to worry about these seals up here on the shaft itself sealing in the block enough to create that pressure or that resistance it needs to create the pressure. So, but short run, this already is looking promising because that is a good lot of flow. So hopefully we're going to be good on this pump. So this pump looks good. Give me a minute to retool and reconnect, and we'll try the other one out. Okay, we are about ready to give this another shot here with the second pump. Get our splash shield in place. Hopefully you can see this side here, right here. This is where you want to watch. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. Okay, here's the thing. This one, to me, I'll review the footage, but this one to me seems like it's pumping more and faster at a higher volume. So to me, it seems like this one may be the pump to go with. And again, this is still on low speed. Yeah, so I think this is the pump we're going to go with. This is the one that had the bad screen and the bad bail. So we're going to take the bail and the screen off of this pump, put it on this one, and this is the pump we're going to put in our Mercury motor. All right, that is going to do it for this video. I've accomplished what I wanted to know. Wanted to know two things basically. One, were either of these pumps still good enough to try to use in my Mercury motor? And honestly, I think either one of them could be used. Why would I go through all this? Well, because a new oil pump is $200 to $300, depending on where you source it, and a rebuild kit is $120 some from Rock Auto. So even if, you know, I get this in and I don't have good oil pressure, I think both these pumps are viable for a rebuild kit, and I don't think I need it at this point, especially on this one. But the bottom line is I'd rather use old parts and rebuild them and reuse them than just buy a new pump. I don't like that kind of mentality. I'm not a replacer. I like to fix things. So, and I like the idea of having original parts in there. So that's why I went through all this hassle. Two, can I find a way to test these, see which one's better, or if I think it needs rebuild or not? I don't know. I don't know if that's the same thing. It might be the same thing. 1 and 2 may be the same thing. Bottom line is, I wanted to save money, reuse original parts, and find out which of these would be the better of the two pumps. I guess that's two. Which one would be better to use if both of them are viable? And I think both are viable, but I think this one's better. So we're going to go with this one. I think we're ready to put this in the car. We're going to let it run, and if it comes out it has low pressure, we'll deal with it then, take it out and rebuild it. So overall, I think it was a success. I know what my plan is now. I will probably spend some more time cleaning this screen, maybe cleaning the pump up, although it seems pretty clean now. Both of these, after I ran them, ran clear oil pretty quickly. They seem to have flushed themselves out pretty good, so I might not even need to worry about it. And I've got the exteriors pretty clean, so I might just clean this screen up a little more, get everything I can out of it, and then put it in this pump and send it on its merry little way. So that's all it is for today. Thank you for watching. I hope maybe you learned something, because when I was searching this on YouTube, I couldn't find anything about testing one of these pumps. I just decided to try to figure out a way to do it myself. So maybe if that'll help you along the way, maybe you can try your own pumps, compare them, take a video, show me what it looks like compared to mine. That would be kind of cool, I think. So who knows what the next video is going to be about at this point? I don't know. But until then, YouTube, later.